Hi, Kohana here. Today I wanted to work on a drawing based on one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Maiden of the Moonlight. It's not a super powerful Duel Monster card, but it became one of my favorite from the game Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses, which was on the PlayStation 2. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses is a sequel to the game based on the PlayStation 1 game Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, which was a game based on the storyline from Yabi Yugi in the TV show. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses jumps to a different timeline in England during the War of the Roses in 1480. Which, interestingly enough, is actually a historical event. Anyway, in the game, all the monsters available are in 3D models where you can see their attack and defense when another monster attacks them, which is really, really cool. I wish that in Duel Links right now that you can see all the monsters when they attack and defend like that, but I can understand that it would probably take a lot more time to animate and it would probably take a lot more horsepower on our phones. But maybe one day on their consoles, the console games, they'll decide to do that. But until then, the only games that really did that was Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses that I can think of from the top of my head. Anyway, in the drawing, I looked at the pose of the Duel Monster, and at first I was going to try to copy the same pose, but as I looked at the position of her hands, I felt like that was a really unusual position. Even when I tried to position my hands in the same position as she was doing in the card, it felt really unnatural. Then I tried to do it in a different position where it looked more like you're cradling the ball of light like she's doing in the card. Until finally I decided to give up on the hand position altogether and work on the position that you see now. In the drawing, I'm using my Ahuhu markers, and for the skin, I mixed some colors together from my Angora watercolors.
I'm really new with markers, but in some videos I've seen of people using other markers. One person in particular mentioned that it's a lot easier to cover a lot of surface areas using the chisel nib. So I decided to give that a try. At first, I was going to stop with the first coat, but after walking away from it and looking at it again, I was like, that looks too patchy. So I decided to go over it again with a second coat of color, which worked out a lot more. And plus, since it was wet with using the ink from the chisel nib, which the same YouTuber mentioned that the chisel nib is a lot juicier than the brush nib, I was able to go back in and give the character a bit of a two-tone hair color. Her ends look a little bit darker, which it does look a little bit darker in the card, and it made it a lot easier to go in, add shadows, and blend those shadows a lot easier. So thinking of that and going with that, I decided to go with that for the rest of it. At first I was gonna put lines in the eyes as a shading method, like cross-hatching, but it didn't look very I couldn't see it very well, so I decided to go in with a darker shade. I decided to do some blue for the eyes to match the purple of the base color, to deepen it up, and put another shade of purple on top of it to blend that.
What I use for the white of the eye is a Painter fine tip pen. It's something you can easily get from Walmart. Usually people recommend using the Sakura Jelly Rolls, but I feel like it's really hard to get a lot of ink out of it compared to these. These almost look like how the Posca pens look like. You have to pump it to get the paint out of it. So I used that, and then I went in with a dark blue around the character and used this as stars. And that's how I got what I have now.